Editors Forum coming to you from Galaxy Television. It is no longer news that the coronavirus, aka COVID-19, is actually taking its toll on nations worldwide, with Nigeria not being an exception. Just yesterday, Nigeria recorded 238 new cases of COVID-19 as deaths rose to 68. The Nigeria Center for Disease Control, CDC, said in a tweet on Friday, the new cases bring the country's number of total infections to 2,107, with Kano faster taking over, as it were, with 92 cases, FCT 36. Lagos recorded 30 cases yesterday, Gombe 16, Bauchi 10, Delta 8, Oyo 6, Zamfara 5, Sokoto 5, Ondo 4, Nasarawa 4, Kwara 3, Edo 3, Ekiti 3, Borno 3, Yobe 3, Adamawa 2, Niger, Imo, Ebonyi, Rivers, and Enugu states also record 1 case each. Also in the news during the week, the President Muhammadu Buhari, precisely on the 27th of April, in a nationwide broadcast at 8 p.m., announced a partial ease of the lockdown imposed on Lagos, Ogun State, and of course the Federal Capital Territory. That's from Monday, May 4. That alone has actually been generating a lot of reactions, and plus other issues in the news this week. We'll be looking at all of that. First off, let's just give you a bit of reminder, highlights from what the president said in his speech just during the week.
The various federal government committees that have reviewed socio-economic matters and the Nigerian Governors Forum, I have approved a phased and gradual easing of lockdown measures in FCT, Lagos, and Ogun State, effective from Monday, 4th of May 2020. However, this will be followed strictly with aggressive reinforcement of testing and contact tracing measures, while allowing the restoration of some economic and business activities in certain sectors.
Welcome once again to Editors Forum on Galaxy Television. My name is Justin Kadonya, and I have two gentlemen with me in the studios. We'll be looking at all of the issues together. Ladies and gentlemen, let's make welcome Dr. Dayo Kayode, a political technocrat. Many thanks for joining us on Galaxy Editors Forum.
Justin. Good afternoon, Nigerians. My pleasure being here.
Yeah, pleasure to have you as well. Olusegun Ariyo is a public affairs analyst. He also joins us this afternoon. Good afternoon to you, Segun.
Good afternoon to you. Thank you.
All right, let's just hit the show on the road as it is. Let's take it from what the president said on Monday, the 27th of April. The Lagos State government went further to, sort of break down what it expects residents to do from Monday, May 4. Let me just give a little summary, then I'll allow my guest talk about it. The Lagos State government, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, on Wednesday unveiled a detailed plan of how the easing of lockdown in the state would be implemented. In an address, Sanwo-Olu said the easing of the lockdown would build on the foundation already set by President Buhari during his nationwide broadcast on Monday. The president had announced, among other measures, the introduction of an 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew across Nigeria as the nation moves towards a gradual relaxation of the lockdown. Sanwo-Olu said he is sharing a broader framework of the President's directive, Lagos State will be very strict in the implementation of this directive. As a first step, I am directing that vehicles carrying food and agricultural produce into Lagos from any part of the country cannot have more than 7 passengers on board. The same applies when the vehicles are leaving the state. Let's talk about other issues too. I said for public officers, the governor said those from grade levels 1 to 12 are to remain and work from home unless otherwise directed by their accounting officers. For those on grade levels 13 and above, accounting officers will carry out a needs assessment of critical staff. Okay, open market and stores will be allowed to open daily from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. on selected days according to the governor, and everyone attending the market and stores will be mandated to observe precautionary measures of social distancing and high levels of personal and hand hygiene. Okay, he also said commuters in public transport must wear face masks and buses must load to 60% of their capacity. He further said businesses would be mandated to operate between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. in a controlled easing phase. A lot of issues, have been raised since, the announcement. Let me just allow my panelists to talk more about. I'll start with you, Dio. The state government is asking, let me start with one that would affect most Lagosian, which is that of the public transportation. Commuters are supposed to operate at a 60, percent, capacity. How do you really see that working? What with the Lagos hustle and bustle with the recalcitrant commercial bus drivers and of course their conductors?
Yeah, Justin, I want us to even take this systemic reduction in this lockdown holistically. All right? Trying to free people from this lockdown, I see it as abdication of responsibility.
Why do you say so?
I also see it as being insensitive to the exigencies of this period. Taking cue, Justin, taking cue from the Great Plague of Marseille in 1742. As regards that Great Plague, history made me to understand that there was a ship carrying silk, cotton, and all that.
Yes.
From Greece and to Marseille, which is a southern port in France. But because the mayor decided to take economic cognizance highly than health of the people, he now allowed those goods to come out from that vessel. Vessel is ship, okay?
Yes.
To the shore, and then leaving the people that have been affected inside the ship. All right, I just decided to cut the story short.
All right.
But at the end of the day, half population of Marseille was, according to history, was around 100,000 then.
Okay.
50,000 people died. Another 10,000 people that were able to escape from Marseille after building walls around Marseille also went out to inflict health injury on some other people, and another 50,000 died. Now the question is this: if you have allowed those goods inside that vessel to be destroyed, you can easily pick up your economy, okay? But those people that died, can you wake them up? Do you know their level of contribution to the economy?
So invariably, now, you're saying that it is not the right
invariably,
to
what
do
I'm saying
right now,
is,
or to take.
It is not yet time to have allowed this lockdown be released. Why do I now say it is abdication of duty? The other time, when this lockdown was highly enforced, people were hungry. They couldn't give them palliative. all you need to do is all these billions that are coming in, spend it on people. All right, let people feed. Give like 10,000. Don't give fake palliative as it happened in Ondo State or your state and wherever as they claimed. All right. Now let people feed. Now that you are now saying people should come out, should start coming out from Monday. Let me tell you the implications. You say each of the buses must 60%. Are you sure that even those 60%, about 10% of them have not been infected? And to what extent are you saying they are free from being infected by other members? 2, when you also go to the market, all right, and then you are exchanging money from one person to the other, are you sure that people are not going to be infected with that particular money that you are giving out to each other? All right. Now, when you also go to the market, are you sure that people selling will also look into that 3 meters social distancing among themselves? So there are a lot of things that are coming up that government is supposed to have looked at. All the money that they are wasting. Look at what happened in Kogi.
Money they're wasting, specifically, how do you mean?
Look at what happened in Kogi when somebody said he has gone to build one tent for 7 billion, and at the end of the day, rain fell and the whole thing collapsed. Where is that money? All this money, you need to put them together, all right, to make sure that you give people enough palliative to stay at home. Not until when you do that. Look at what is happening in Kano.
Okay, we'll come back to that.
I'm only saying it's because you need to keep people at home.
It's a major talking point. It is actually one of our talking points for today, but we'll get that gradually. But let me bring Segun Ariyo into this discourse. You've heard from Dayo Kayode. He says the decision right now is a completely bad one. How did it really hit you when you heard the president's speech, and specifically with all of these outlines that the state government has put in place? What does it really tell you?
Thank you, Justin. What I would say here is that the planning, the expected degree of containment from Lagos state government and Ogun and FCT is okay, it's fair. You see, this pandemic, especially in Africa, is coming at a very unfortunate time. The economy of this country, we know before we get into this. Now, yes, the government has not done well in the aspect of palliative, I must confess to you. But one of the balancing, they have chosen is to give a gradual unwinding of the lockdown, which I agree with them.
Okay, but don't you think a school of thought believes that the entire process is a big risk as it is? It's as though you're putting the sheep or the lamb to the slaughter, asking everyone to go out.
I said something earlier, that the expected level of containment is fair, it's okay. Don't forget, in the regulation of the Presidential Task Force and the Lagos State government, they made mention of closing down. Airport is still closed.
Yes, it is.
One of the root points that give the vulnerability aspect, to we here in Lagos and other areas the president had taken a decision in his wisdom to lock down, is because of they are coming from outside country. Many of the entry routes, people that are coming from outside country. So those areas is still in lockdown.
Sorry, sir. I'm sorry. Let me quickly help you on this, sir.
Okay,
even when it's being locked down, cases are in the streets.
Dr. Dayo,
I just said the level of containment, the degree level is fair. You can see the proactive approach of Lagos State government in containing them. You can see the building of isolation center. You can see the commission one other isolation. What we are saying is that what we need is what the government is doing now, the planning, execution aspect of it, that is building more of isolation centers, making sure that the level of containment is is fair enough, which is what.
But in your opinion, would you say that the lockdown in itself, the 5-week lockdown that was imposed by the federal government on those states, Lagos, Ogun, and the federal capital, was actually effective, judging by the numbers that we've had since all the announcements?
It is very fair, because when you're looking at from advanced country, we have the palliative and the lockdown in the best performance so far. Performances. But in Nigeria, where we're talking about the lockdown alone, when we delve into the palliative, you will agree with me that there's nothing excellent about the palliative. But what the government has decided in its wisdom is what is fair. Because if you come on the street, you will see the level of hunger. The people are hungry. People are getting palliative, and some are hiding it. Government is not even seeing what exactly is the issue of the hunger thing that is affecting the people. But the best option they have come about is to see how they can unwind it and allow people that get money on a daily basis to go to their place of work. Now, yes, the transport you have talked about earlier about the route from origin to destination, I agree completely. Let it be 60%. Then more of orientation.
Speaking of orientation, I'll come back to you. But let me bring Dayo Kayode into this matter. He talked about orientation and sensitization of the people. Specifically, writing that there's an imposition of compulsory use of face masks, and then of course other personal hygiene practice, use of hand sanitizers and hand wash and all of that. Looking at all the situation that we have in the country and going historic as per behavioral patterns of our commuters in Lagos, how do you really see, what do you see playing out on Monday, and do you really think enough sensitization has been done?
You see, when you're talking about the face mask,
yes,
hand wash, and hand sanitizers,
yes,
to what extent has provision been made? To what extent have you even looked at this face mask? Listen, I'm not a medical practitioner, but the little knowledge I have about science tells me that, look, when you breathe out, you breathe in oxygen
and breathe out carbon dioxide.
And breathe out carbon dioxide.
Yes.
And with that face mask, will it allow the old carbon dioxide to go out? All right? Now, when that carbon dioxide is not going out, what happens to it inside that face mask that you are wearing? Okay? And where am I going is this. You see some treated with this thing inside. Filters inside. Those filters has a function. Do you understand? But you now see Surah the tailor, Iyamoria the tailor, now sewing all these masks without those filters. And when you now put all those things straight on, what effect does it have on you?
Okay, I'll have to bot it again. I just want you to hold that thought. Speaking about a compulsory use of face mask, Rita Omoja went round the street and sampled the opinion of people, and she came back with this report. We'll take excerpt of that report and come back and talk some more. Do join us again.
The face masks are widely used by medical workers as part of droplet precautions when caring for patients with respiratory infections. Since the outbreak of the severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus, the use of the face masks has become a dire necessity. As evidence suggests, COVID-19 could be transmitted before symptoms onset. Community transmission might be reduced if everyone, including people who have been infected but are asymptomatic and contagious, wear face masks. But is this achievable in Lagos? The Lagos State Government, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, had on Monday 7th announced enforcement of wearing face masks in public places.
Next week, when we think we will have wrapped up production and distribution we're going to be asking that face mask should compulsory be worn at public places.
But can residents adhere fully to this order, considering the fact that it is not a normal daily costume for most individuals?
It's not comfortable, but I have to wear it because I want to save my life and save other people's life. My wife made the face mask for me. I just have to wear the face mask.
It's not convenient. Then why I'm using it because it's the common one we can get.
Yes, I'm using it because of the order. It's not really convenient.
Definitely, because, you know, if you use it, you will not be able to contact it if I have it. And same thing with me. If you have it, if I use face mask, I wouldn't contact it. So it will prevent both of us from contacting it. That's really the reason for us to wear it.
It's not easy for government to provide us with the one that we feel is safe and secured. And for us, you know, we've had so many stories, either fake or true. We don't actually know. We've had stories of how people have used some of the face masks and they have rewashed or they have repackaged them. And I just want to be safe. So that is why I feel let me continue to use the handkerchief that I trust so much, that nobody has used and throw away and then repackage. So that is why I'm using this until I have a definitive
All right, welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching Editors Forum coming to you from the stables of Galaxy Television. I still have Dr. Dayo Kayode, a political technocrat, and Olusegun Ariyo, a public affairs analyst, joining us to look at all of the issues coming out from the COVID-19 palliatives, lockdown, use of face masks, the one you just watched us put together by Rita Omodia. Quickly, you were raising some concern before I bring
so as I was saying, when those carbon dioxide couldn't escape, what happens? Let our medical experts talk about that. Again, you see some people, they put on even this thing inside their vehicles. When you are inside your vehicles, do you need it? No, because you are not looking, because you don't know the health, even the health implication of you having this thing on for a very long time. Are people aware that when you put this thing on, after about 5 minutes, you should remove it a bit and allow all those carbon dioxide that have coagulated inside it escape for it not to be injurious again to your body. All right. Now let us even move away also from there. And so many countries are now distributing hand sanitizers free of charge to their people. But go to our markets now. You see the prices of hand sanitizer have skyrocketed.
Even aside from the price, you even see all sorts of hand sanitizer.
I'm still coming now. I'm coming now. I went to a particular facility 2-3 days ago when I wanted to use the hand sanitizer. Miaditol. Yes, Miaditol. These are issues.
Cutting,
yes.
In a short cotton.
These are issues that we need to look at.
Okay.
And especially, honestly, I will still keep on saying it. It is not yet time to relax this lockdown. All we need to do is don't let government abdicate their duties.
Okay, but then I just want to bring Ariyo first. But before I talk to him, you said government should not relax the lockdown. So in your opinion now, how do we make up for the economy just being stagnated?
Now, I will also put it to you. Which one will you prefer? For your economy to be stagnated or to lose 50% of your work population? Okay, that's which one will you, because your economy, even at the end of the day, because this darkness, this cloud you are seeing will soon pass away.
But do we have enough in store? That's another question. For instance, do you have enough in store? For instance, food. do we have enough in our store bank, that can actually last us, for months, for years? And judging by the fact that this is the planting season, shouldn't we be making the most of it?
The issue is this: we once had Ebola in this country. It was right there, caught in the knee. All right. Now the issue on this one, all right, we have enough to take us through. Okay. But the allocation of that resources is what is faulty. Okay. If we allocate our resources appropriately and judiciously, you will see how effective this lockdown will be.
Thank you, Dr. Dayo. Olusegun, you've heard his postulations. I just want to hear your reactions concerning all of the issues that he has raised, and indeed that of the compulsory use of face masks.
Thank you. You see, yes, I agree with him that the face mask thing should be, scientists should, talk more on the negative effect. But all over the world, this is what we see, as trending, where face mask is used as alternative. Are you getting my point?
Sure.
And I still hold the view that the government decision to unwind gradually the lockdown is the best option. The government on its own can decide to continue with the lockdown. But do you know who is at the receiving end?
Who?
The Nigerian people. Many people are hungry. So if they can come up with the concept of give solid orientation, and with the modalities and regulation that they have just put in place to see that 60% are boarded in the car, in the vehicle, commercial vehicle, to every of their destination from origin, I think it's more wiser. So as far as I'm concerned, yes, the scientists should look more on what Dr. Kayode has said, but I can assure you, what they have said, the government on their part is still fine to unwind. They are not saying they are going to do it totally, Yes.
But then again, he raised a very pertinent question.
Okay.
He asked me, I'm going to throw it back at you.
Yes.
He said that would you rather have your population, 50% of the population die than have a stagnated economy?
Thank you very much. I said earlier about the degree of containment. Okay. Maybe you didn't get what I said earlier. The containment level is fair. It's
so
fair.
you're containing it.
Yeah, our ability to contain is still fair. It's still okay. Are you getting my point?
Yes,
compared to other countries, African countries. Are you getting my point? Even the EU, other international organizations are commending Nigeria, especially Lagos. Look at it, and other states like Abuja now. Look at Ogun State. Look at the level. In fact, last week I read it online that the isolation center in Ogun State is one of the best in the world.
Oh yes.
So you can see the degree of containment. It's a plus. A degree of containment. If once it is fair enough, we should be able to balance it in the way they are giving a reasonable thinking to see that the people are allowed to go out with the understanding that they must have two in Marwa, on Keke Marwa, two passengers in Keke Marwa, 60% on any commercial vehicle, and with face mask and physical distancing.
But do you see,
let me ask you a question. Let me quickly put a question.
Going to be, do you see a situation of total compliance come from Monday?
That is where government must work in the aspect of orientation and reorientation. Even the police must change their orientation of, first arresting people. No, the level at which we find ourselves now is not to arrest, but more of orientation. When the police get to the market, give the impression of what they need to do, washing your hand regularly. We are not here to arrest anybody. We want you people to get your face mask on, get your hand washed regularly. Physical distance observation, which I think is one of the best things the police should change to do.
Let me quickly ask this. Let us do a little bit of comparative analysis when it comes to this containment.
Yes.
When you look at Nigerian population, it's about 200 million. What is Ghana's population?
Maybe Lagos population.
Less than Lagos population. All right. Let's even say above Lagos population. Now let us look at how many Ghana has been able to test. Vis-a-vis how many we have been able to test to now say it is, because before you talk about level of containment, you have to look at it vis-a-vis, one, how many people you have been able to test within your population.
Thank you.
All right? You have to look at it vis-a-vis the ratio of doctors to your population.
Okay.
You have to also look at it vis-a-vis the ratio of this isolation center to your population. Of recent, maybe yesterday or day before yesterday, the Minister of Health was pleading to people to come and be submitting, to come and be donating properties
for isolation center.
I was just looking at it. Does this one know what he's saying? Sir, look at Federal Secretariat, former Federal Secretariat. Federal Secretariat, former Federal Secretariat at Ikoyi is there now, idly. What are we doing with it? Okay. A lot of buildings all over the country like that that they can use. So those are the issues I want us to look at when we are talking about level of containment.
We have to move on to another.
Let me quickly respond to what you're saying. There must be symptoms to show that there is a need for anybody to be tested. You can't just come and pick me and say you want to test me. How you get my point? There must be a symptom to show that indeed, one of the things they showed in giving orientation is that somebody must show symptoms, maybe through coughing, sneezing, and all those things. Then through the what they use to determine the degree of, I don't know the scientific word they use, but there must be symptoms. What Dr. Kayode is saying, yes, it's right, but you can't just test. What Ghana did was random sampling. Random sampling is research, is picking randomly.
Have we done it?
You know, you can only do such a thing when there is a need or justification for it.
Okay, on a need assessment basis. Okay, let's take some reactions from viewers, then we'll move on next to other issues. A Casey from Alausa Ikeja says, okay, I don't really get that. Try and write to us again. Mr. Ariu has said that the government has not done anything to unwind the lockdown. They should provide face masks, hand sanitizers, and palliatives. There was a lockdown since a month ago, and the number of deaths is increasing. And the May 4th, the government will ease the lockdown. So what is going to happen after they ease the lockdown? That is from John. This one says President Buhari stated in his speech during the first 2 weeks that experts told him to extend the lockdown. Now, WHO and NMA kick against relaxation. Layer from Ikbaja. Olga, okay, I didn't really get that. Good afternoon, panel. Since there is no drug for COVID-19, how can some people who, okay, please try and construct your thoughts so I can read that. Good afternoon, sir. My name is Emmanuel from Cement here in Lagos. All we want is to release us to go back to work. We don't care about the law. They are giving out. We will follow it. My children are hungry at home. My name is Paul from Ikeja. I am enjoying your discussion while sitting at home. Thank you so much. There are so many face masks that are infected that were being supplied to the market by the Chinese people. It is better we use our locally made ones for safety purpose. We need to go for lockdown relaxation now because we have no money to eat anymore. All right, we'll take more. The feedbacks are coming in trickles, but let's look at some other angle to this whole COVID-19 pandemic. Is the issue of pay cuts and retrenchment. Most people are not receiving full salary. Some people are receiving half. Some people are receiving 75%. And some people have actually lost their jobs, not just in Nigeria alone, but worldwide, with lots of unemployed people seeking benefits from countries that are really well organized. But let's take this insert once again. I will come back and talk some more. To join us again.
Among the numerous challenges facing the country as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic is the issue of job security. Now, despite the fact that President Muhammadu Buhari has agreed for the gradual phasing out of the lockdown from May 4th, the labor force, workers, especially monthly earners, are still in doubt if they actually have jobs to go back to. While some have sealed up their fate that they will take a half pay, which is even unable to meet up with their very needs because the employers say there is no income to pay the workers. Even on social media, the hashtag trending depicts lamentations of various workers over job security.
The fact is we need to understand the situation we find ourselves. It's never the making of a worker, neither the employer. So the situation itself is called pandemic because it's actually beyond human control and it has escalated. So therefore, what prompted the lockdown should be considered in any action taken. Employers are never expected to talk about cutting of salary in the earlier stage of the challenge that we don't know when it will end. Nobody is ignorant of the fact that employers, especially in the private sectors, are actually established for profit making. But we are saying that in as much palliatives as are risen to the vulnerables to be at least minimum to eat, so also salary is a palliative to workers. So we're talking about workers, we're talking about regular workers. We're talking about employees of a company. We're talking about the composition of the strength of organization. So you can't start cutting off your body all of a sudden because of affliction. We are saying it is too early for anybody to suggest it. It's insensitive and certainly will be resisted. It's unfortunate for employers to start too early to talk about cutting of salaries. I know what they need now is solution to the challenge. And in as much we are telling them to rechannel this palliative to get to the real vulnerable, you don't also make the workers to turn vulnerable. That would be disaster for the economy.
For government not to include the labor in all the activity is also another area in which I see that they are not sensitive. They should be very sensible and sensitive to the plight of the people. So many people, they are not in the formal labor, they are in the informal sector. And the labor from our own side is that we are tired because we have seen a situation in which the government will not be able to live up to their responsibility. We have seen a situation in which after this COVID, so many companies and even some government offices, they want to hide behind this COVID-19 and then they will perpetrate. They are already thinker. That is, they will want to reduce the workforce. They will want to do casualization. They will also want to reduce the salaries of the workers. We will mobilize and we will resist any government or any private organization attempt to frustrate the people. We will resist all those.
On the streets, residents seek to survive with the use of face masks as erected by Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. Some have even turned it as a business venture and source of revenue.
I see any work, so I started selling those masks.
Have you been feeding since this lockdown? How have you been coping with food and the rest? How has your family been coping?
It's not easy. We have been feeling uncomfortable. It's not easy with the things going around now, and we are that is why my mom told me to sell nose mask.
How much are you
to
selling
get 100 naira.
How much have you made today now?
300 naira. So
you'll be outside here till what time?
I'll be outside maybe till 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Now, despite so many relief funds and palliatives meted out by international bodies to help Nigeria in its response to the COVID-19 pandemic, Nigeria still staggers in maintaining a valuable economy, even as it gradually tends to ease lockdowns. With issues of corruption lingering among government agencies, what happens next, one may ask? Analysts posit a way forward out of this milieu.
So what governments can do to deal with this is essentially what governments are doing in Europe, which is to give huge businesses or huge organizations setting bailouts and allow or help their cash flow or solvency for the next 2-3 months so that they are unable, so they can muddle through the crisis essentially and keep the jobs that they already have. In fact, I think it's Senegal or Uganda that has passed a law criminalizing the sacking of people from certain industries in their country. And the government there has also promised to issue certain kinds of bailouts to those businesses. So if we want to save jobs and if we want to stop the disaster of a rising unemployment that we've experienced over 2 decades in Nigeria, what we must do is to have targeted policy at saving businesses or helping their cash flow or their solvency so that they can navigate through this very difficult period.
The federal government should reschedule its strategies because who is the messenger in this matter? And Between the takeoff point to the destination, what happened? So government should not just be interested.
All right, many thanks, Rita Omodia, once again for that report. We're still looking at the effect of COVID-19. Specifically, we are talking about pay cuts and retrenchment. But our panelist is still here. But let me take one or two messages before we continue. Buhari made a big mistake in relaxing the lockdown. He should increase the lockdown for 1 month so that the cases will reduce. Divine from Agbado Ijaye. My name is Chikwado. Nigeria is not serious about this pandemic because if they want to stop it, the good people of the country try to stop. I don't really get that. Okay, I appreciate your good work. My name is Godwin from Ikorodu. Let our government do the right thing and continue the lockdown to see to the end of it, and please beg, I can't mention your company's name, okay fine, to consider us in this ugly situation and give us some money from our pension savings account, okay? You can only save when you are alive, specifically private workers and those that are not working anymore. Let's even take it from there. This particular writer said the pension fund administrator should actually give them part of their money because they don't really have enough right now, and some of them have been laid off and they have savings and yet they can't access it.
These are part of the thing we are talking about. Holding up to your responsibilities. Look at the pension fund that has been there. Are they not doing business with it? Do they want to tell me that they have not been making money from all those money being deposited in their account? They have been doing businesses with it, we all know. So at this point in time, are they not also to look at their social responsibility aspect and then ensure that pensioners are being taken good care of? You see, these are the issues we're talking about. That's what I meant the other time, the application of...
This case in point is actually still working. The normal monthly contribution, retirement savings account, he feels that he's been laid off and that he has savings and yet he can't access it.
Let me tell you how it operates. When you are working, there are some monies and all that they save for you with the pension, and they also in turn use it for business.
Of course.
So when you retire, they first of all pay you a chunk money before they now start paying you monthly. Now, with the rate of inflation in the country, even before now, rate of inflation, and then with this pandemic, all right, are they not supposed to even look at it? You pensioners, yes, we have made some money from you. This is going to be our palliative contribution to palliatives. They have everybody's account number, so pay little money into all those accounts. People will still be happy about it. These are part of the things I'm talking about. There are so many ways in which, look at some companies, don't let me mention them, that produces things like edibles. We know them. Why should you be giving government money? Why should you be donating 2 billion, 10 billion to government? Why don't you
look at your
customers? One, reduce the prices of commodities. Then go out and distribute. There's a particular company that also produces all these edibles that I'm aware of. And they started distributing some of these things. It's just that I wouldn't want to mention it. If I will have mentioned his name.
No, we shouldn't.
Do you understand?
Yes,
and distributing to people as palliatives. Incidentally, I was on a particular program. I was on a particular platform. And then they were now asking people questions, this and that, to distribute the palliative to people. That company now said, this man has all been coming to our platform. Let us also give him a package. Do you understand?
So, but as it is right now, let's hit the nail on the head. So, as it is right now, how do we strike a balance of companies not really doing well and making decisions of either sacking outrightly or actually going for the option?
They've made mistakes. how can a bank, for instance, a bank, don't let me also mention their names, be donating billions to the government when you know you have staff? Those staff that you have, you know they live in a community. People will be looking at them. But, oh, this one works in the bank. He should be having money. You're supposed to give those people money so that they can extend hands of fellowship to their neighbors. By so doing, you'll be reducing the pressure of hunger on the people. But now they have donated their money to the government. Now you are now sacking. How can you be paying Peter to rob Paul? Now a lot of people, there's a particular bank that they were telling me yesterday that has sacked almost 800 members of staff. How do I know? How do I know? Somebody who works in that particular bank has a friend that has now been sacked. Do you understand? Paying Peter to rob Paul. How will you do that?
Okay, so Segun, what's your opinion on all of this?
You see, first of all, that pension fund administration, if I say it is highly corrupt, I think I'm not wrong. It is highly corrupt. I have somebody that I will not mention his name that is not even seeing his pension, his fund money. You know, normally what they do initially when they started was that once the money is being deducted from your salary, you will see the remittance. It will show in text. But now, I challenge the government. Let them come out. Let the staffs, employees of government, come out to tell us if they even know who is their administrators. Talk less of how much
they are supposed to be
some of them are having in that fund. Yes, I challenge them to tell us, you know, because I have them in government. Number two, robbing Peter to pay Paul, according to Dr. Kayode. Let me buttress a point. This organization you are talking that are selling edible items and all that, they are very good at doing that. That is the reason I use the word corrupt reading process and all. And government paying lip service, turning deaf ears on these people. One of them, I will not mention name, gave government money in billions. Sugar that they use, he decided to add money to sugar, yes.
But maybe he has given money.
So what the people are saying at the rural area after sampling their opinion is that these people would bring billions to government,
but they are the one paying it.
They are the one reaping them by adding the price.
Invariably, the citizens are the ones actually
they are the one
payment for the palliative that they're actually getting themselves.
Now
should be getting
they are the one making payments because many of these businessmen, that's what they do.
Look at this service provider.
I just mentioned sugar. I didn't know that company has added money to the value of that sugar. Now he has given government billions.
Okay, so because of time now, so as it is how do we strike a balance? What do we begin to do? Other developed countries, citizens go out to collect benefits.
Let me give my views on how to strike a balance. The president magnanimously has said that they are going to look at manufacturing company in his last broadcast, that they are going to see how they can, you know, come to terms in whatever manner that would have a balancing between the private sector, manufacturers, and the government. Now, there was a circular that came out from CBN, you know, that talked about giving palliative to manufacturers and other people who they deep fit about 50 billion. If that is in reality, I want to commend the CBN for that. Then the government again, through the Minister of Information,
how did that 50 billion get to the people?
They gave the modus operandi as to who to apply, what to do, how to do about it. I read through from CBN. I read through, but I assure you that I send it to some private manufacturers.
Don't they have accounts of people?
No. No, that is, I agree.
Don't they have account numbers?
Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in a press statement, had made that as an option to federal government to give this palliative through BVN. There are many millions of Nigerian people who are hungry at home with BVN.
Are you not affected? Are you not affected?
I agree.
As you are here.
I agree with you.
Are you not affected?
But mine is even better. There are some who are worse than my own.
Sure. Okay.
That government should be able to look at. Okay. I'm just trying to tell you how to gain a balance.
Okay.
Now, one of them is following Asiwaju's statement
by giving cash.
By sending the BV through the BVN process. Okay. Second is to use the emailing method to determine middle, low, and high income earners, and indeed those who are in need of this palliative.
Okay,
those are the concept I think government can put in place to get it. Not the type of what we saw, by the Honorable Minister for Humanitarian. Physically using hand gloves to do, sharing money. How do you want to get to know those that are poor and those that are in need of this money?
Account for it.
How do you want to do it?
Okay, then again, in all of this, another issue that we must look at is the situation in Kano State, the rising cases of COVID-19 in Kano. Just before the last data that was released from the NCDC, all through the week we were hearing of mysterious deaths in the state, and government officials coming out to say that it was not related to COVID, that it was meningitis, it was malaria. They gave all sorts of reasons for the mysterious death. Right now, practically every day the numbers are jumping. What have we failed to see, and what are we not doing right, Dr. Dayo?
You see, when you look at what Ganduje is doing in that state, between you and me, if to say that state is having an effective House of Assembly, they're supposed to impeach him right away. How do I mean? In the first instance, it was telling us there is nothing like COVID-19 in Kano State and all that. Somehow, some dollars, euro, were being donated to Nigeria to fight COVID-19. And he woke up, he said, yes, I need 15 billion naira. And people were questioning,
so you say it's out of share or two motive?
Well, if that is going to be our conclusion, but then he just woke up, I need 15 billion. Imagine, immediately after that, look at what we are now experiencing. That means, before now, he has been concealing a lot of information as regards that.
For whose benefit?
Probably to his benefit, for him to be able to make money. Because you can see a lot of professionals, professors, medical, whatever, big guys dying in that state. But then, federal government need to take some decisive steps.
But they have taken some actions.
Let them move the headquarters of the presidential task force to that place. 2, let them increase the level of medical experts there, and then give them protective apparatus that will not make them to be exposed or easily amenable to the pandemic. 3, let them lock that state down permanently for now. But then, why locking it down? Not for 2 weeks that the president said. Permanently for now. Let him say permanently for now. But then, let the federal government also give them palliatives so that they will be comfortable in staying at home. Because if we are not careful, look at the way he extradited some Almangeris to Northwest and Northeast. Definitely all those people are Almangeris. So many of them were tested positive in some states. So let the federal government take all these decisive steps immediately.
All right, thank you so much. I have to get Shego's input on this because of time's sake. Yeah, the Kano situation, the rising cases, way forward.
Let me just add to what Dr. Kayode has said, that the president should give palliatives to them. Then the governor himself should take a cue from Lagos State you know, Lagos State was being proactive. Let me quote the Mr. Governor. He said, my Commissioner for Health saw it coming. Immediately, he alerted me. I immediately directed that all this to be put in place. Today, it was being proactive. If it was not that it was being proactive, we would have not be in this level that we are talking about. So the governor was very, very, not interested about his people, but more of money. There's this impression about out there that people begin to talk about that the governor is more of money, but less of what is about these people. Now, for example, he came again last week and said that I saw it on the cable that the president should lift the lockdown, which is not fair.
Okay.
So those are all the recommendations he has made, Dr. Kayode has made, is perfectly okay, except that the palliative must come in reality. We must see, the level of effort in the way the police is enforcing the lockdown.
On a final note, I also want to appreciate the Commissioner for Health, Lagos State.
Professor Abayomi.
Yes, for all the works, honestly, he has done. He shouldn't allow abdication of responsibility of some people to come around and destroy it. He has done very well.
Thank you so much. That's as much as we can take on today's edition of Editors Forum. I want to say a very big thank you to all of you who have contributed by sending SMSs and sharing your thoughts and opinions concerning this issue of COVID-19. Our guest here in the studio has been Dr. Dayo Kayode, political technical. Thank you once again for joining us. And of course, Olusegun Ariyo, public affairs analyst. Many thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.
All right, that's the size of the show. My name is Justin Akadonye. Many thanks for watching.